Thank you very much, Wendell. I'm delighted to be here. When I was probably 5 or 6 years old, growing up just outside of New York City, my father was a chemical engineer, and he kept talking about Corning as an iconic company. And it's always been sort of in the back of my mind, why the heck have I not come up here before? Unfortunately, I was delayed in travel, so I wish I'd walked around. But anyway, this company has been extraordinarily familiar to me all those years. But I also want to say I'm from Washington, and I'm here to help you. I say that a lot in my speeches, and I got to tell you, sometimes there's no laughter, so it's really good. I'm also grateful that I know that you had Hillary Clinton speak in this role some time ago, and I'm delighted that you are willing to pay me the fee that Hillary was paid. So I really look forward to coming back here yearly. I was reading your annual report on the way up last night, and I'm also delighted that you chose PwC, my former firm, as your auditor. I'll have to read through the lines very quickly and in detail to see what kinds of errors I'm sure my colleagues may have introduced into the audit statement. And then finally, I don't know if you saw this today, but Wendell will appreciate this, that 1984 George Orwell's book has just climbed to the number one bestseller in Amazon. I'm not sure why that's the case, but I'm sure the members of the boards of directors of Amazon will be pleased that the value of their shares has probably just risen dramatically. I want to do several things today in the time that I have allotted, and I'm going to chat for about 45 minutes and then open it up for Q&A, which I was telling the management team before. For me, that's the real dessert for doing these speeches. I mean, I learn a lot from the Q&A. I hear myself speaking all the time, so that it's not interesting, but hearing what you guys have to say is really valuable to me. So the four topics I want to touch on is, first, what are the underlying dynamics that are changing the global economic landscape, and in particular, where is the growth today? The second, which is follows on that, is that the role of emerging markets in propelling the global economy and the part of the world that really is engendering growth. I want to discuss, what do we mean by emerging markets? Oftentimes people refer to it as a monolith, but I want to double click and triple click and describe what I see are the opportunities as well as the risks. And I mentioned that, as did Wendell in the introduction. I feel very strongly throughout my career when I joined PwC, and maybe this is true particularly of accounting firms, but I don't think so. The first, sales pitch when you go to a client is, we're going to help you reduce your risks. And I kept saying, after like the first month there, I said, don't we want to help companies grow? And do so while they're reducing risk. But if we play the role of firemen, we're never going to help shareholders get greater value in the equity that they hold in the company. And so that's a message I really honed, and frankly I think it's now someone in the DNA of PwC. And I want to dwell a little bit about what I mean by this opportunity risk trade-off. And then from those three vantage points, I want to share with you what I'm seeing in the market in terms of strategies by firms like Corning, in terms of how they're handling how to exploit new opportunities and how they're mitigating risks in rapidly changing markets. They're not all risky. They're not all as risky as one might think. And there are lots of misperceived opportunities, I think, in some of the markets that, one might write off willy-nilly. And then I want to close with something which I'm sure is of no interest to this crowd, is, what can we say about Mr. Trump's trade policies and the outlook for the U.S. economy and the global economy?